So kind of coming out here, kind of looking at the whole project, I just want to ask kind of some basic things like, how long was this album kind of in the making? Why is it called Blue Patio? Like, what were some like things you learned along the way? Like some mess ups, some things you wish you could have done better, stuff like that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this project, this was done by myself, and then I have my best friend and coworker. His name is Fawn. So the two of us, we put this project together probably a little bit over a year. The first song I wrote was Honest, and that was back in November of 2016. Yeah, so it's been about 2 years. And then the last song that was written, I'm trying to go through them now. I know Outro was done in May. 716 was done July 16th, so that was the last one. And then I spent the rest of the time mixing until we dropped it. So it was about a little over a year, or a little under a year of production, and then a full almost a year for start to stop, I guess.
Oh, wow. So where did the name come from? Blue Patio, what does that mean?
Yeah, so I wrote most of the songs. So I was in college during the time. It was my second senior year of college, and I was writing it mostly in my dorm or in my apartment in college. And then when I wasn't there, I would come back home and live at home, and I would come sit or hang out with my parents. Then at night I would go out and I would sit at our patio. My mom has these blue lights, beautiful blue.
It is a hard word to say.
Beautiful blue hue.
It is a hard phrase to say.
Yeah. So she had that around the patio to make it like really strong color. So a lot of the songs came from that moment out there, and it was like in the middle of the winter, so it was cold, and like it really caught that feeling that I was going for, I guess. So it's named after that patio in that moment.
That's really cool.
So from Blue Patio, it coming from such a nostalgic place, and with every album, with every project, really, you kind of go through a process, and kind of what did you learn from that process? From yourself. What did you learn about music making? Like, anything you're going to take into the future.
Yeah, so this was the first one that I've done under the alias of Jay Wile. This was kind of like the introduction of how I want to approach music when it comes to songwriting, producing, and in general. And I had done it before, but this was the first strong effort that I made of like caring about the other parts about music and really crafting this image, both musically and everything about it. So I think with this project, it was a lot of learning along the way. The biggest thing I've noticed has been growth, especially in the years since I have released it, and how much growth I've had to do since then. So when it comes to production of instead of it just being me and trying to force it all and create it all, find other people that can help make that vision come true, and just learning how to like work with others. 'Cause everything was, I produced the entire Blue Patio on that one. And then I mixed it, except for one of the songs where Albie, my current engineer, he did that one with me. So just going from like trying to do it all in my head and get what's in my head printed and release it, which I've been doing for the past 10 years, versus now like allowing others in and like allowing other collaborations to make things actually work, and like actually finding a graphic designer to go and design the art for the cover and take a picture and like capture that moment as well, and helping get that sound, getting the picture to fit the sound of the music. So, and shout out to, his name is Austin, based out of Austin.
Shout out to Austin from Austin.
Yeah, shout out to Austin. But he was brilliant on capturing that moment, and of course his edit was great for the cover.
For sure. That's cool. That's like how collaborating is such an important part of any art form.
Yeah.
And finding the right people like that is definitely the main struggle when it comes to, getting your ideas perfectly transcribed so everybody's on the same page.
While still allowing others to like have their input and have their creative process into it. And like, even with this, all the new stuff we've been working on this year, including stuff we haven't released yet, like the graphic design I've been working with for the past 2 songs, Help Myself and Pick Up the Phone. His name is Jacob Justice, and he's based out of Indiana. He's done some incredible work with other artists, and for him to like really help figure this project out and get the new cover art ready and everything that's happening with all the stuff that's been this year has been great. But like allowing him to have his creative input, and like he's the one that thought of the idea for the hand, and like for him to like allow for me to give him that trust of doing that and trusting him with such a precious thing like your cover art. I think it's huge for growing process of letting others like have a part of it as well.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I mean, for me, it's not music; it's filmmaking, and being able to. And part of that is there's so many aspects, and so many people on the same project where it's like, I don't want to like. I have to start trusting people. You know, it's like I have to trust that you get.
You can't do it all.
Yeah, I have to trust that you get me, and that I can. And sometimes having more than just my eyes on a project can make it even better. So.
Like you might miss something. It's like have someone else who's thinking something else you might be missing. It's like that's a whole nother
Right.
It's dope.
So, you know, you like you're talking about with Blue Patio and the whole process of having to learn to work with others, and you know, let's go back to the start of the process. You know, you produce your own stuff. You wrote the music. You know, you spent however long mixing and mastering it, and you know. Emails back and forth.
Right.
And I want to ask, how did it feel booking that first performance and like, you know, the feeling of seeing people who enjoy your music and being able to perform to them? How did that feel? Just like being able to see your, you know, be able to touch the people that are listening to your music.
Yeah, that is wild, man. I was in a band back in 2013, and we did a couple local gigs around San Antonio, and we were pretty good. I mean, we were just brilliant musicians, and we were trying to find the right sound. And as we were doing those shows, I got to interact with people, and I got to interact with like singing and people like enjoying the music with us, and that gave me a taste of it. I think now with this new era that I'm working in, and with Blue Patio and the Scene of Reception, it's so the music. I try to be more genuine with what I'm doing, whether it's like with music or if it's like playing the shows. And so for people to come up and talk to me afterwards, like that is such a great, like, it's a warm feeling to know that like the work that I'm doing is enjoyed. Yeah. Because I enjoy it. And so for other people to enjoy the music that I make or enjoy my performance, like, I'm having as much fun as they do, so I'm glad that other people are getting to share this, and it's just amazing at this point. Like, and as the crowds get bigger, or even when it is a small crowd, like if it's 10 or if it's 600, like it's fun. It's all fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you've performed in front of live audience before, obviously, whether in band and choir and stuff. So was there any feeling of almost like a self-consciousness performing something that you created in front of people?
Oh, of course, always, and even more now, I feel. I was in addition to choir and all that, I was in an a cappella group in college. I was in two of them. I was a director of one, and then I was just one of the singers in another. And getting to like sing without even having music and just having like your other people that are around you singing, like that was super nervous for me, like especially like if I had a solo I had to do, like that was always just terrifying, and that feeling is still there, and it's maybe even more magnified now that I'm by myself versus having 10 other people with me. But I think like watching others in the audience, like when seeing people sing along and stuff, that helps a lot. Or if I'm like looking in the audience and watching people's like genuinely jamming, and it doesn't have to be everyone, but if I can see that people are like enjoying what I'm doing, that makes it easier for me to like relax. So like someone else is having a good time too.
Oh, cool. That's definitely cool.
I think that helps a lot.
Have you ever had that moment, you know, felt that moment where you started to feel that, you know, you're starting to get a little traction, you know, out there? You know what I mean? Like, you know, maybe I don't know, maybe just a feeling in the air that is just like, wow, this is different. Like I'm really starting to pick up here. Go ahead. Hey, you can flex real quick.
So,
you can flex.
no, it's just kind of, so there's days there's days that it happens. Like there's a quote, I want to say it was Joe Budden. He said on a podcast. I listen to podcasts every week.
Big fan.
Now twice a week. They got the 2 shows a week. Man. But it was a couple months back, and he was talking about how artists are the last. He was talking about Eminem.
Yes.
He was talking about how he's the last one to know he's hot. Like artists don't know if they're hot, and vice versa, they don't know when they're cold. And it's like they're the last ones to know. So like there was a day back in, I want to say there was a point where music jumped. I want to say it was like an April show, and I had like maybe 200 listeners one day. The next day I had 17,000 on Spotify.
Wow.
And so I woke up like, what is this? Like, what's happening?
Wow.
And I text all my friends, text my management, text everyone, just like, yo. And it was super pumped about it. And now looking back at that 7 months later, like, that was a very small bump compared to like what's happened since. And now it's like, I don't feel like there's traction. I just see a steady growth.
That's good.
And like, to see people every day find the music, and even if it is like Blue Patio or if it's the brand new song I drop, like it comes from different ways. So I'm just enjoying it all at this point. And if there's a famous person that reaches out, like I'm still gonna geek out, but like everything just happens in time.
Yeah, like so that moment where you just spiked up, from 17 to 17,000, and since then, have you ever felt pressure to keep? Nowadays, it's people are just putting out music to satisfy their fans, quantity over quality. Have you ever had that moment where it's like, okay, I need to really like, you start to felt the pressure of, having so many fans, you know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie. I feel that pressure every day. I see people tweet me. I see my team, my own desire to put more music out. Like the stuff we're sitting on is like, let's do it. Let's just put it all out. Just like to get it right and to do everything the right way is like important. And I think, you say you're from the Frank Ocean subreddit. As a super Frank Ocean fan, like not being tied to like being told what to do, like he drops when he wants to drop and how he wants to drop, and it's like
exactly
when the time is right to do it. Like I'm not necessarily I don't want to try to keep up just to have music out. Like if it's not the right quality music or if it's not the right time, like I don't want to be pressed to do that, especially when I don't have to.
Yeah.
Being independent and not having anyone to tell us what to do. Like I have my inner team of people that I talk to, my management, both Josh and Kayvon, and then my best friend Jake, and just like we really strategize and try to plan things out. So it's not a label telling us you have to do something or you have to release this. Yeah. It's more of like what is right. And I think in the long run people are gonna respect that.
You think you'll ever sign to a label?
If it's right, I'm not anti-label, but it has to make sense business wise and creative wise. And I think once you find the right team, both on your side as well as like the label side, that whatever the interaction is, that it's going to be a good fit on the long term. And surrounding yourself by people who know that like I'm not in the industry at all. Like I'm a kid from San Antonio who started making music. But the people around me are very knowledgeable in what we do. So it's like we keep a good core, I guess.
Yeah,
for sure.